haven't swallowed one or two. I mean, the things I have found in those diapers. This one time, there was this Monopoly shoe. And I was like, whoa, my kid's pooping silver. This is awesome. But, yeah, so tonight, I had to administer the Heimlich. Yeah, on my dog. Yeah. And so there's complete chaos. You can imagine, I have 4 children, ranging from the age of 5 to 13, and I can't tell you how many times I've said, if it's not food, don't put it in your mouth. I even say it to my dogs. I even say it to my husband. If it's not food, I am not putting it in my mouth. Anyways, back to the choking. Okay, so I think, there's full-on chaos happening right now. I'm late, and all I could do is think, okay, Heimlich, I'll try the Heimlich. So, I have one kid going, Mommy, should I call Dr. Donna? Dr. Donna is our neighbor. I said, no, she's a pediatrician. They're looking at me like, are you saving our dog, or are we watching our dog die? And then my daughter's like doing chutes, and she's like, Mommy, watch me! And I was like, oh my gosh. So I pick up the dog, and I start pumping and praying. And I'm going, Lord, why are you doing this to me now? I'm gonna be late. Nothing. So I went for the old finger hook maneuver. Some of you moms out there know what this is. Now, the trick with the old finger hook is that you have to go in from the side towards the back of the throat as to not lodge the object down into the trachea, and then you're supposed to hook it out. Now remember, an English bulldog's head and throat is much bigger and wider than a 3-year-old toddler. So I go in deeper and deeper, and I suddenly have a flashback of being in labor and delivery. And the nurse checking me to see how far dilated I was, and me saying, you don't have to do this, I'm a C-section. And then I felt something, and I grabbed it, and I pulled it out. And we couldn't tell what it was because it was completely covered in drool, and then it moved, and I dropped it. And so I'm screaming, and I was like, what the heck? And the kids, they're all startled, and they say, what is it, what is it? We're all looking at it. And we see its little eye just twinkle, and its little feet go like this. It was Sammy Davis Jr., our baby chick. Little Sammy Davis Jr. was covered in drool like he was slimed by a Ghostbuster on the floor, and his little mouth was doing this, and no sound was coming out. And I thought, oh my gosh, this poor thing, he's gonna die, So I went from saving the dog to now I have to save a chicken. And I thought, okay, this thing is, he's gonna die, but he has to die in dignity. He can't die with all this drool and stuff all over him. So I took Sammy Davis for a bath, and then I gave her a little blow dry. And this is true. And then I wrapped her up in a little baby blanket, and I put her in a shoebox, and I gave her some water and some food, and I said a little prayer over her. I said, St. Francis, come on, pull through on this one. And good news, Sammy Davis Jr. is eating some grain and drinking some water. So she made it. And so like I mentioned, I have a 13-year-old, and he asked me recently the question that all parents dread. The question. And man, I didn't want to have this conversation with him. I was just kind of hoping he'd just kind of happen at school but anyway, he asked me, we went Black Friday shopping, and he asked me, Mom, tell me the truth. Is Santa real? Oh my gosh, the look in his eye, the pleading, like, please tell me the truth. Am I a total douchebag for telling my middle school friends that Santa is real and that they're lame for not thinking that he is? And I'm thinking, and I believe in telling my children the truth, but in the simplest form. So when they were little, they asked my husband, what are these? And, they had some tampons. And my husband was like, they're lady products. And they said, yeah, but what are they for? And my husband says, ladies put those up their butt so they don't get any poop on their underwear. And I was in there when he said it, and I was like, what? Why would you say that to him? And he says, well, what would you say? And I said, I tell him the truth. So I said, sometimes, once a month, a lady has a little tiny bit of blood that comes out of her pee, and those are used so it doesn't get on their clothes. So I say to him about Santa, I said, Santa's magic, and when you stop believing in the magic of Christmas, you stop getting gifts. Do you understand what I'm saying? And he said yes. And so a few months later, he gets his teeth pulled out. This is very recently. He had 3 extracted at the dentist's office. And he had he was in pain, and he had some gauze in his mouth. And I said, hey, go lie down. I'm going to go puree you something. So I'm in the kitchen, and I'm cooking, and he comes in, and he has these 3 strings hanging out of his mouth. And I said, Asher, what's hanging out of your mouth? And he pulls it out, and it's 3 tampons. And I said, Asher, what the heck? And he says, Mom, you said they're for blood. And I ran out of gauze. And I said, well, how many times have I told you if it's not food, don't